When you first heard the decision was being made to close for 4 weeks, what was the first thing that went through your mind?
Just disappointment, really. I feel that to have opened up again, given people a chance to get their health and fitness back on track was a great moment, and then to have that taken away again with potentially a lack of evidence to support that has been really disappointing.
I mean, what do you make of the messaging? We kind of are hearing two different stories, aren't we, which affect you?
Yeah, I think it's very mixed, because obviously we can hear lots of information and read information from supposedly the people who are supposed to be giving us advice that exercise, nutrition and everything is really important, and yet seemingly that's just been taken away from the vast majority of people.
What has been the reaction from your customers, throughout lockdown, in fact, the first one and now second time?
Okay, so I think in the first one people were less informed around what was going on. There was a sense of, okay, let's do what we need to do to get this country back on track again. And obviously the length of time that it went on for became quite frustrating, because they were seeing lots of people going back to doing what they normally did. We then obviously reopened at the end of July, and we saw a massive uptake in the number of people that came back in, and our membership numbers were growing significantly. And then when we get this news on Saturday, I'm getting text messages and emails coming through all weekend about how disappointed people are. Their little sanctuary, their place that they come to for their mental and physical well-being has been taken away, and they can't understand or justify in their own minds why, because they feel so safe here.
I mean, what do you feel the reason is behind leisure facilities and gyms being closed? Does it make sense to you?
I mean, obviously I am biased, and I have to be careful when I talk about this with people, and as I have done frequently. But I think if you're going to use evidence, you're going to use statistics and numbers to shut facilities down, you then also need to back that up. And the evidence from what I've read from UK Active, 22 million gym visits between July the 27th and September 27th, and we had 78 cases linked to that. It's 1 in every 300,000 visits. I guess you wouldn't have to do too much reading to work out that you're probably statistically more likely to catch it somewhere else.
From a business point of view, how concerning is it for you, given that you're going to be closed for 4 weeks, potentially longer if things aren't right in 4 weeks' time? Does that worry you?
Yeah, I think for any business owner, you make projections based on what you see happening. You try to be proactive, and I think that it's just the environment that we're being driven into is a very reactive one. So you can't make decisions like you normally would. So it is quite concerning, not just financially, but also for trying to make provisions for members about what we're going to do in the future as well. So it just creates a level of uncertainty.
I've spoken to some parents who are concerned that if you take the sport away from their kids for 4 weeks, they'll get into bad habits and do things that aren't so good for them, and may struggle to get them back out there to play the sport. How important is it for people, do you think, to be doing exercise, be them young kids or adults?
I think it's massively important in terms of both physical and mental well-being. I think the evidence, and you can look at it subjectively and objectively as well, is there to be seen. And one thing I've noticed a lot is that people will actually do have a certain behaviour or a commitment that they have first thing in the morning or last thing at night, but all the behaviours that fit around that happen as a result of. So if I go to the gym at 6:30 in the morning and train, I can then go home, shower, eat a decent breakfast by 8 a.m. and I'm then into my first job feeling pretty productive. And I think that the potential danger here is that those behaviours slip out, so that domino doesn't get knocked over and the rest of those behaviours don't happen as they should.
What advice are you giving to your clients about trying to kind of keep ticking over in the 4 weeks? Are there things you've got in place here to make them be able to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we, off the back of what happened last time, this time round we were a lot more prepared and ready. So by 3:30 a.m. on Sunday morning I was ready to go with our plan. It's not ideal. It's just we just have to pivot and react and do the best we can for those people. So we've tried to do as much as we can for each of our different clients.
So it's a kind of not one size fits all. You've kind of got online bits, you've got one-on-one. You can still do that kind of thing.
We can still do one-to-one outside, obviously with it being November in the UK. daylight hours, public spaces, it's not our preferred option, to be honest with you. So we've set up Zoom calls with all of our clients at their normal appointment times, so that we try to keep that continuity and that regularity I talked about a minute ago in. And we'll have live videos with them, and we've got plans in place to support them all the way through. So not ideal, but we've got to do the best we can.
And if you had the Prime Minister in front of you right now, not me, him instead, what would you say to him? What would you like to see happen that isn't happening? It's a good question. I think, honestly, it's not far outside what I've said already. And I think the thing is with it is I just want to see, if you're going to use evidence to shut businesses down, I want to see the evidence that it's a danger. If he came in here and said, Matt, your gym is responsible for 20% of the COVID in your gym membership, I couldn't argue with the facts. But the facts are not that. We've had no links to COVID, no COVID cases as a result of this place being open for the last 3 months. So why are we shut?